Hey everyone, I'm your reporter for this package, Ethan Walker. On January 14th, Green Day released their 14th studio album, Saviors, which debuted at number 1 on Billboard's top album sales upon release. Green Day also announced a brand new tour in the US as well as Europe. In the US, they will be joined by the Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas, and in Europe, they will be joined by the Hives, Nothing But Thieves, the Interpreters, Do Nots, and Made a Bass. With the new album's release also came music videos from the masterminds of Ryan Baxley and Brendan Walter. And in these PNN exclusive interviews, we'll take a look behind the scenes of these videos.
Where did your career start? What inspired you to get into this industry of making music videos?
So originally I was going to school for audio engineering and ended up having to like drop out after a semester because I couldn't afford it, and got a job at this production company doing radio spots for them. And the owner was just like, I can give you more work if you want to learn video editing and how to like use a camera and stuff. And I said sure, and ended up really liking it and quit doing audio and started getting more work doing video. And my brother-in-law's band got signed, and they were given some money to make some music video or make a music video. And I was like, let's use that money and make shirts, and we could just make 4 music videos for free, and started just doing that. And then it just kind of became more and more my job.
Yeah, so I played in a band for a long time. I played in a band for like maybe 10 years or something like that. And then I was doing my own bands, like album covers and photos and then music videos. And then I was doing like friends' bands, music videos and all that stuff. And then, just kind of grew from there and try to do bigger and bigger stuff, and always try to like make the next thing that I make the best thing that I've made. And it was kind of, that's I guess still the idea.
So how did this opportunity to work with Green Day come about?
So I was still doing like full-time edit work up until October of last year, and I was like working for just a lot of like corporate jobs and stuff that wasn't exciting work or anything, and doing music videos at the same time. And but that job was really like paying my bills mostly, and I would just take videos for bands that I liked, or if I liked the idea, and the money behind it didn't really matter because I was paying for our rent and car and stuff from another job. And then they ended up out of the blue laying off like their entire video department. It was like over like 1,000 people. And so I was like, well, I can either get another corporate job or I can really give this thing a shot. And so I made a new reel, which I hadn't done in like 7 years or something, and sent it out to all my friends, and it ended up making its way to Green Day's management. And the creative director, Brendan, at Crush, he ended up getting in contact with me, and we met up for coffee, and he was like, I like your stuff. And we talked a bunch about just things that we liked and how we like to work, and we got along really well. And he was like, well, I'm working with this band and wanted to see if you'd be into it. It's Green Day. And I was like, yeah. It's kind of a no-brainer.
Probably about 2 years. I work with their management company, this company called Crush, and just they started working with them, and it was like, I mean, Green is one of my favorite bands, so I was like, I have to be a part of that, and it's been awesome.
So you were part of Back in the USA, correct? That music video.
Yeah, I think that was the first thing I really did with those guys. It was on like the God's Favorite band,
Yeah.
greatest hits sort of thing.
Yeah. How does it compare, like working on that video and Meet Me on the Roof, right? For Father of All? Yeah. How does those two experiences compare to what you did for The Saviors?
They were just very different. I mean, those are like kind of fun and like light, you know, like and like stories. And I think on this one, you know, definitely I met Ryan last year, and Ryan and I just really connected and kind of like had very similar kind of like ideas of what this stuff should be, and really worked together on all these things, you know, like the album cover and the logos and the, you know, music videos and just kind of everything. We really wanted to like create this like cohesive, cool vision and kind of like bring Green Day back to something, you know, a little bit serious, but not like taking itself too seriously. Kind of like, you know, just really enacting the vision that they had for this record. It's such a good record, and like I don't know, just getting all of those ideas across, but in a really simple and cool way. Like not I mean, I think with The American Dream Is Killing Me, we tried to go like really big and just do like everything, pull out all the stops and make a zombie movie, which was really fun. But then like after that, it was kind of like do it kind of DIY a little bit and like just have fun and just make videos that are like true to the song, true to, you know, the band, and just make really good stuff.
Zombie imagery and The American Dream Is Killing Me. What did the zombies represent?
That was a idea that Billy had. He kept bringing up Night of the Living Dead and how he was like, it has this like, you know, it was like a statement on civil rights movement, and like had such larger symbolism than it just being like a scary movie, but it was done in a very subtle way where it didn't feel like it was beating this message over your head. It was like you could watch it and just enjoy it as a horror movie, but then you could also really read into it and find a lot to take away from a social standpoint. And so I think that was something with American Dream, the song already being pretty political. He wanted the video to be something that could just be fun to watch, but then at the same time, you could take something away from it at the end, but it didn't feel like it was beating you over the head with a political message.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And so we made them zombies because we were like, well, the zombies aren't necessarily like the villains in it. Like they're kind of cool, but they're also eating people. And so they're not all that cool, you know? And then, but then you've got like the militia guys that come in that are trying to kill the zombies. And then they get, you know, the one guy at the end gets scared because his friend gets killed. And then he ends up killing an innocent person and is just like reacting based on fear. And the whole thing is we kind of felt like, especially everything that was going on here in America, particularly during the pandemic and everything, it just felt like watching that news footage, and it didn't feel that different than a horror movie. And that was kind of like our general take on like where the video was coming from. That was like kind of our messages. It was like, this is a fun thing to watch, but actually it's not that far off from the world today. Yeah.
Was it a quick turnaround for most of the videos?
It was, yeah, it's been extremely fast. Look Ma, we shot that video in 45 minutes and came up with the idea the day before we shot it. Like we weren't even planning on doing a video at all. And then I had this other idea and called up Billy, and like I didn't know anything about the release date or anything, and we had just finished American Dream, and I was like, oh, I got this idea for Look Ma, and told it to him, and he was like, oh yeah, that's super cool, but it comes out in like 4 days. And I was like, oh, okay, well, never mind, can't do that. And then he called me back like 10 minutes later. He's like, but it would be really cool to do a music video. And we started just like talking. And then, next thing you know, like 10 minutes later, we were like, okay, what if we do this and that? And they were shooting a thing for that Amazon live set
Yeah.
deal the next day. And then we were leaving for Paris to go on the Europe trip 2 days after that. And he was like, well, when would we shoot it? And I was like, well, I guess tomorrow. And he's like, okay, well, we're shooting the Amazon thing tomorrow. Let me talk with the guys and see if they're down. And then he called me back and he's like, all right, they're down. We have a 3-hour lunch break between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Can you book a studio near our studio where we're shooting this? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then their thing ran late, and then they had to leave and be back in time. And so, yeah, we ended up getting 45 minutes to film the whole thing. And
Yeah, we shot it on film, so we had to like
Yeah.
get it like rush kind of turned around there, and just like 2 days of just like straight chaos. And I mean, that's like kind of fun sometimes. I like a mix of both. Like some videos that are like you can really sit and think and be methodical, and then some it's like it's kind of fun to just like throw yourself into the fire and like just do it.
Was it stressful at all?
Yeah, 100%. Can be very stressful, but it can be, it's like always super rewarding.
I mean, we had gotten there a couple hours early, so I was able to just rehearse the whole camera movement and everything a bunch of times. And then they're so good at being able to just like turn it on and perform. And I mean, they've done a zillion music videos and know how it works, and they're complete pros. So there wasn't any like warming up or anything. They were just on.
With Ryan, it's great. Like we just kind of share. Like I think we joke, or like, and his wife Alice and I, and he, like we just joke that we like share the same brain, because it would be like, oh, the end like needs something, and like, what about like? And he was like, I got an idea, and I was like, I know what you're about to say, but say it. And he's like, what about like some green or pink like flashes? And I was like, yeah, I got it. I'll see you later. Like we had the same thought. So like that's always really fun. And also, we do have that, but we also like kind of bring very different things to the table, which is also really fun.
On Dilemma, you're listed as creative director. So what does that role like consist of?
I don't know if that's really, I mean, it's just kind of like made up. I mean, I think like, so Ryan was on tour with the band in Europe, and they came up with that idea all together. So it didn't feel right to like come in and work on the video with him. So I wasn't really involved in the concepting of it, but I think like, give notes or come up with ideas, or just be on set and offer moral support. I don't know. Nothing really.
Ryan said that you were the one who came up with the switch from black and white to color.
Oh, maybe I did. Yeah.
If you remember, how did you come up with that idea?
Well, I think Ryan had such a good vision. It was very like, again, like tied to the lyrics of the song, which is about, just struggling with addiction and alcoholism, and like the reality versus the, what you see in your head when you're on those things. And like in the beginning, it's supposed to be very like, when I'm drunk, I feel like the best, coolest person in the world and everyone loves me. And then the second half of the video is like, no, actually people are really annoyed with you and you're kind of a mess and you need to get your shit together. And so, I thought it'd be cool to have the end just be like really flat, kind of like regular colors, like the way we actually see the world. So you're like, everything is like very black and white, You're like, you're like the best or the worst is while you're in that state. And then later, like everything becomes nuanced and you're like, oh, wait, hold on. That, laugh that guy did wasn't a laugh with me. It was a laugh at me. And like everything becomes very nuanced.
That sparked a question. Who came up with the idea for the POV rig for Dilemma? If you know.
I think that was mine. I think maybe it was, like so much of this stuff, it's been really collaborative, and the ideas are, it's like we're all talking, it's like me, the band, and Brendan, like we'll all just like bat stuff around with each other, and so it gets a little bit gray for me as far as like
Gotcha.
who came up with what. But I think that the camera rigs were my idea, and those, it was just meant to sort of be a visual representation of like having like Billy's like tunnel vision, where it's like his range of motion was really limited. And then in that latter quarter of the video, when it goes to color, the camera like comes off of his perspective and goes to a wider one, and it's sort of like, no, this is what you're actually like. And that was kind of something that we felt like that was just something that even outside of Billy's, that's like a very personal song and everything.
Yeah.
But like we all kind of related to, either from our own experiences or knowing somebody where somebody thinks that they're telling a super funny joke or something when they're wasted, and you're like, no, you were just being a huge asshole. Like, do you wanna be my boyfriend? Do you wanna be my boyfriend?
What was Bobby Sox shot on? Super 8 as well, or
Bobby Sox was shot on high 8 analog tape and Super 8 film, 16 millimeter film, and Canon R5 cinema.
nice.
And that was just, we had 4 of us all shooting things, and we just kind of figured it would kind of add to it just kind of covered all base. I don't know, there's something about kind of shooting stuff like that one, we didn't have really any type of storyboard, or we kind of created an environment, and then just there was like a handful of little things that were like, oh, let's make sure we get these people kissing against the sky, and let's make sure we get this guy with his dog. And there were like certain things that we had that were like, oh, these are little actions that we can make sure that we kind of get. But then we were also we got everybody into this house or into this backyard, and with that one, we told all the extras and everybody there like the whole concept of it, and tried to get everybody on the same page of what we were doing. And then we just spent 2 hours before the band showed up and just filmed people hanging out and talking with each other and having a good time.
People were like, is this a video? Like, are we filmed? Like, are we working? Like, we're making money? And we're like, you paid us to be here, and we're just hanging out and like having fun with our friends. And like, that's completely the idea. Like, we really wanted it to feel authentic. Because I think there's like music videos where you like, I mean, even on the American Dream, like you cast people and it really feels like work. You're like, you have a shot list and you're like, oh, we have to get this and we have to get this. But like on Bobby Sox, it was just like, let's just like have fun. Like, let's make this feel really authentic and just be like kind of a celebration of love and, human connection. And that was a really, really fun experience.
Is there any advice you could give to anybody who wants to get into this line of work?
I feel like it's the same as like somebody that wants to be in a band or something, where it's just like, just start a band, like if that's what you, it's definitely competitive, and it's not an easy thing, but if you love doing it, I mean, it's crazy to me. I mean, I was also like I never had even like the slightest dream of working with like Green Day. Um, I was very happy just like working with like local punk bands and like getting scrappy with budgets and kind of being feeling like, yeah, I make some like cool creative videos that don't cost a lot of money, and like get to work with all these cool bands and then hopefully watch them take off. And it's like I'm like super into that, like it's really fun. And if I was still just doing that, I'd be totally happy. um but yeah, I mean, like, I think just do it and kind of know that like you can always continue learning. And I think every project that you do, you should be learning from. And if it's easy, then you're probably not challenging yourself enough. And, you know, um, but yeah, I don't know. If it's something you want to do, just find people that you work well with and make shit together. Like, and just do it the way that, do it the way that you want, I guess. Like, we've talked about it with like this stuff where it's kind of like if you try to make something that like everybody like, no matter if you make, I don't know, it's funny, I've made things that I hate at the end where it's not at all what I set out to do, and had people be like, you made this video, it's my favorite one. And I'm like, really? That's my least favorite thing I've ever done. And then there's things that are my favorites that nobody gives a shit about. And you never know how, once you put something out there, how it's going to be received. And so the only consistent thing you can do is make something that you're proud of, and then no matter what anybody thinks, you're still happy with what you made. I feel like that's been a very helpful thing for me to learn. So
I don't know. I think I was talking to someone yesterday. I think it's just like just making stuff. Just you just gotta like. I think people like wait for like permission, and it's like, I don't know. Make a Green Day video. Make a video for a Green Day song. Like, you don't need Green Day's permission. Like, go ahead and do it, and then put it up on YouTube. And like, if it's amazing, people will see it, and that'll start gaining traction. Like, I think it's really smart to just make things. You can't really like learn it. I mean, you can read a lot of books and you can learn a lot of things, but like, I think you just got to do it.
You try to explain your creative process when trying to come up with different ideas for a video?
I think that's pretty hard, man. I don't know.
It's okay if you can't.
Just an exploration. You just got to like sit with it and think about it and listen to the song 1,000 times and just really like let it seep into your brain, and then just think and think and think, and don't look at anything or read anything. Just listen, and then kind of like maybe step away for a second, and then like, write stuff down, write really bad ideas down. And then something happens. It's like, I think that's it. That feels right. Let's do that,
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into this video. For more behind the scenes stories, check out the article at the top of the description below. Also, be sure to follow the Penn News Network on all of our socials, also found in the description, along with the proper credit for everything and everyone you've seen in this video. This is reporter Ethan Walker signing out.